2024 is almost wrapped up, so with 2025 being literally right around the corner, thought it'd be fun to start giving some really far out predictions. If you guys saw yesterday's video, I looked at the 2025 Women's Australian Open. Now in today's video, gonna look at the 2025 Men's Australian Open. This one should be a fun tournament. There's gonna be a lot of names in play, and this one's gonna be a little bit easier to navigate through since it's gonna be coming up here in January. And you guys know the big names that are gonna be at play. For example, the world number one, Jannik just won this tournament last year, and in my opinion, not only was the most consistent player on tour last year, but he also was the best hardcourt player on tour last year, and I fully expect Jannik to be the favorite for sure in this year's Australian Open. Now, there's going to be a few other big names here in play, right? First off, I know maybe you don't want to hear this one off the top, but you have to give him his credit. He's a 10-time Australian Open champion, a 24-time major champion, Novak Djokovic. Djokovic, again, has won it all, did not have the best 2024, but he should be healthy enough when this Australian Open rolls around. You guys have to see how the draws play itself out, upsets, all those things, but Novak Djokovic could be in play here. Also, guys, let's not forget, too, about the guy that finished second in last year's Australian Open. A guy that's lost a few of these by a set a few times now, Daniil Medvedev. Medvedev, great hardcourt player. Again, I know probably a little bit more on the fatigue side as 2024 was rolling itself down. Should be fresh at the beginning of 2025. Look out for Medvedev. Also, guys, Taylor Fritz really came on big time at the end of 2024. Made it to the US Open final. Made it to the ATP finals as well. He's improved so much on his game, and you really saw that in full display in the later part of 2024. I really like Fritz heading into 2025. He could definitely make noise in this tournament. And I know, you guys are probably sitting there, right? Did you really forget about Carlos Alcaraz? No, of course I did not forget about Carlos Alcaraz. The kid's an absolute phenom. He's an absolute stud. I know he was dealing with some illnesses in the ATP finals. I know I got some comments about that, and rightfully so, in my post-ATP finals coverage, but he's an absolute stud. He's a phenom. When he's ever entered into a tournament, absolutely could win it. He's the youngest player in tennis history to win major championships on hard courts, clay courts, and grass courts. I mean, what else can you say about the kid? Absolutely going to be in play. Then, of course, guys, too, let's not forget about Alexander Zverev, who really, when is on top of his game, could beat anybody on tour. And we saw that a few times this year, right? He won in Paris this year. He won in Rome this year. Was a semifinalist at the Australian Open, finalist at the French Open. Actually almost won that French Open, losing to Alcaraz in 5 sets. Zverev absolutely could be in play here in this first major championship of 2025. So those are some of the bigger names to look at as we head to this first major championship, and we'll have to see how everybody's playing, right, as it gets closer and whatnot. But now, sitting here, right, in 2024, just kind of looking at the grand scheme of things, as far as a prediction goes, guys, I'm going to keep it simple. Jannik until somebody dethrones him on the hard courts, it's hard to go against him. He's just such a steady player. He's so well-rounded, uses every bit of that long wingspan, and he won both major championships on the hard courts last year. He is the world number one. I mean, it's very hard to make a case where Sinner is to lose. Now, of course, like every other player, he's vulnerable. There could be an upset somewhere, open the doors for other players. But now, like I said, just looking at this thing, I really have a hard time picking against Jannik for this year's Australian Open. So hopefully you guys liked today's video. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll have more videos just like this as we wrap up 2024 and start previewing these really far way out predictions for 2025.